welcome back to my channel. For today's video I thought I would do another eyeshadow palette ranking video. Today's brand is BH Cosmetics. If you are new here, my name is Natalie and I upload 2 to 3 videos a week all about makeup and beauty. If you like what you see here today, I hope you will consider subscribing before you leave, but why don't we get into it? As I said, today's video is going to be a ranking of my BH Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. I do also have a really fun giveaway if you will stay tuned to the end of the video for that. It was actually my birthday on Saturday and I do always do a giveaway on my channel to celebrate my birthday, so I thought I would do that with this video as well. So stay tuned to the end of the video where I'll be going over the details of that. Just a note in case my hair is looking slightly like a bird's nest, I did actually get this done today, but I got it done very first thing this morning and it is now much later into the night, so it's not looking its best. But because I had it done and I have had quite a bit chopped off, I thought I would make the most and film a video, and I have had makeup on today as well, so it seemed like the perfect opportunity, and what better video to do than a ranking eyeshadow palette video. So I do only have 6 eyeshadow palettes from BH Cosmetics, but for me anything over 5 is enough that I can do a ranking of them, so I thought I would do it for this brand. I have only done a couple of these rankings so far. I do have a few brands where I have multiple eyeshadow palettes that I can do rankings for, but I picked the BH Cosmetics because I did think this would be quite an easy one to do. But when I sat down and laid all the palettes out in front of me, it was actually a lot harder than I thought. I think it's easy for me to say with these eyeshadow palettes, there's not a single one in here that I dislike. I do like every single one of them. Obviously, I just like some more than others, but it is a very tight competition. So why don't we start with palette number 6? And I'm going to have to go with the Weekend Festival palette. So this is one of their older eyeshadow palettes and is a pretty bright colour story, which is the reason why I have ranked it at the bottom. Even though there are some neutral shades in here that I can make use of, and there are a few shades in here that are kind of favourites in my collection as a whole, because it is a palette that I do need to think quite hard of when applying a look, it's definitely not a palette that I can reach for in a hurry. I do always have to sort of plan out my looks with it. But this does also contain some shadows that are unique to my collection. At the point I purchased this, there were quite a lot of shadows in here that were unique to my collection, but because my collection has obviously grown, there's a few more now that I do have in other palettes. This one down here, this neon bright green, I didn't have anything like that at the time I purchased this, but that to me is quite similar to the green from the e.l.f. Hot Jalapeno palette. So I do now have another shade like that in my collection. But I do love this colour story. It is really fun and vibrant. It does kind of fit with the festival vibe, but I just don't find myself reaching for this one as much as I once did. But again, I don't think that's down to the fault of the palette. It's probably because my eyeshadow palette collection is so large. So a fun palette, but yeah, I did have to rank this one in at number 6. Then in at number 5, we have the Beautiful in Barcelona palette. I did kind of surprise myself with this one because I did think I would rank it higher. I do have a few palettes from the Travel Series collection and I do love the quality of them, so I did think I would rank this one higher. But for me, it is the kind of colour story and the fact that it is such a deep colour story, I don't find myself reaching for it as much as I would like to. It does have some gorgeous shades in here and it does have enough neutral in here for me to be able to reach for it on a kind of everyday basis, but there are only a very small handful of lighter shades. So if it was to wear for a work look, which is more often than not when I'm wearing eyeshadow, although not so much these days, but it is the kind of more neutral shades that I tend to reach for. I do love this blue shade down here in the bottom, but I don't really know how to incorporate it into an eye look. And then we have these deep shades on the bottom here that are really pretty. They swatch beautifully, they do go on the eye beautifully. I just don't really know how to incorporate them in looks without the looks being too smoky, which is not something I tend to go for. Kind of safety zone for the shimmers in this palette is this trio here. These are all so pretty and look gorgeous on the eye, but for me, just overall, it is a pretty deep palette, so that's why I don't reach for it as much, but it is absolutely stunning and I feel like it does fit the theme very well of Barcelona. In at number 4, we have the Royal Affair palette, which is again an older palette in my collection, and this has a pretty neutral colour story with a couple of pops of colour. I think one of my favourite shades in this palette is this pink one up here. I don't reach for pink shadow very often, but for me this is the kind of perfect crease shade, because even though it does look a bit more vibrant in the pan, it is just a really nice kind of warm pink when it is blended out. It's not too bright and it is the perfect crease shade if I am going in with a pink look, which isn't very often really. I do like this shade here as well, which is quite unique because it is a white silver with a blue shift to it, and it does look really nice, especially in the inner corner. And then you do have your kind of staple neutrals here. This is a palette that I have used so many times to create a really simple work look, so I do love it for that. And it has a bit of everything because it has every kind of tone of brown that I need for an outer corner look. It does have the lighter shimmers for me to go on the lid, so I do really like it, and it is a good everyday palette. Like I said, there isn't a single palette here that I don't like. It's just I like some slightly more than others. And it was when I got to this palette that my decisions started to get a bit more difficult. Then at number 3, we have another one from the travel series, and this is Smitten in Switzerland. And this is a really pretty, almost kind of muted, colourful palette, because it does have yellows, blues, greens, pinks and greys in as well, but they are more toned down, which is what I like about this one. This palette is great because a few of the colours are kind of paired together. So there is a matte green and a shimmer green, a matte pink and a shimmer pink, a matte very, very dark grey, and then a shimmer kind of silver toned. The only one that they are kind of missing a matte for is the blue, but everything else just ties in really nicely with this palette. And this is one that if I am feeling like dabbling in a bit of colour but nothing too bright, this is the one that I do tend to reach for. I think when I made my purchase of these palettes, I got one for free. I don't think it was this one, but I think this was one that I was on the fence about purchasing, but because I was getting one for free, I just decided to give it a go. I think it was either buy 2 get 1 free or spend £20 and get 1 free or something, but whatever it was, it meant I purchased 3 palettes. So this was one that I did think looked really pretty, but I didn't know how much use I would get out of it. So this one has definitely pleasantly surprised me. I mean, it's just so nice to reach for, and I say for me, I feel like it is something a little different, which in my collection is quite hard to achieve. So yeah, this one is ranked at number 3. Then at number 2, we have this collaboration with Sylvia Ghai. And this is a palette that I do believe is quite a few years old. I know I've had it in my collection for quite some time now. And this is actually a palette that I did get for free. Again, BH Cosmetics tend to have quite a few good deals on Beauty Bay, and this was one where it was spend so much, get this palette for free. This one was a really good deal because I do believe this palette is worth at least £20, if not kind of 24, 25. So to get this one for free is great. Even though it is a gorgeous palette and it had caught my eye, it was definitely one that I wasn't going to purchase because it was slightly high for BH Cosmetics. At that time, they didn't have as much hype. I think I might have purchased this one after the Royal Affair palette, so I knew I did like the formula, but I just didn't feel like I needed this in my collection at the time, and obviously to then get it free is an absolute bonus. This is so good because it has the kind of 2 different colour stories going to it. You've got the deep, more colourful tones at the bottom, and then you've got the 2 rows of neutrals at the top. This is a palette that I use so much when I am going into the office because this is a palette that I don't really need to think about. I can reach for numerous different shades and create a really nice everyday work look. But then I can reach into this one as well if I do want something a little deeper, which, like I said, isn't always very often, but it's nice that I do have it in the same palette. I found with the Barcelona one, there wasn't enough neutrals to combat the kind of darker shades in there, whereas this one is split 50-50. You do have these 2 shades on the side here, which I do believe are supposed to be face highlighter shades, but I never use them for that. I think I've used this one a couple of times, but I just tend to use them as inner corner eyeshadows or all over my lid, to be honest. This one, Libra, is such a gorgeous shade. I think my most reachable shade in this palette is this one, Prince here, because it is a gorgeous champagne gold shade. And that is the one that is my kind of fail-safe and go-to whenever I'm doing a neutral look. Generally, I love what this palette has to offer because it does give me those deep, smoky jewel tones without taking away from any of the neutrals that I do kind of crave. And then in at number 1 is my final palette from the travel series, and that is Chilled in Chicago. I do actually think it was this one that I got for free in the most recent deal, but this is one that I was probably going to purchase anyway. This is such a beautiful palette, perfect for the everyday, but again, it does have a couple of deeper tones in here. But this is one where I will use every single shade in this palette. All of the other ones, even though I love most of the shades in the palette, there's still 1 or 2 shades that I know I won't get a lot of use out of, whereas this palette, if I haven't already, I will definitely use every single shade in here. I think at this point I already have. The only one I'm thinking I've not used is this really deep brown up here, Sky Deck, but I think every other shade I've used. Obviously, because I do have such a large collection, it does take me a little while to rotate through my palettes, but when I did purchase these travel series palettes not that long ago, I just couldn't stop reaching for them, and it was this one that I was going back to time and time again because it was the more neutral looks that I wanted on an everyday basis. I really like the layout of this palette as well because I feel like it is kind of set together in rows, because the bottom row is all sort of gold hues. This one here is more sort of orangey toned. You've got the pink row here, and then the top row is mainly browns. Obviously you can mix and match, but I feel like sometimes, especially when I'm in a rush, if a palette does kind of lay it out a bit more simpler, then it is so much easier to use. This is one of those palettes where if I was doing another one of those videos of if I had to get rid of all my palettes bar 10, this one would definitely be featured in the 10. I think I would struggle to ever part with this palette because it is such a great palette, and obviously the quality is fantastic as well. I haven't had any issues with any quality on the palette of BH Cosmetics. From what I've heard, their travel series is definitely an improvement of previous formulas, but I still quite like the formula in the Royal Affair palette and the Weekend Festival palette as well. I do think it's really good. I can tell the quality is slightly better in the travel series. And then I've heard that the quality of the Sweet Shop palette is even better than the travel series, but I haven't tried one of them. I have gone to pick up the neutral one from that collection quite a few times. I think it's called the Sugar Waffle or Sugar Cone palette, something like that, but it is the neutral one. There's been a few times where I've talked myself out of it because I don't need another neutral palette, and then I've talked myself out of it because I'd have to order it from BH Cosmetics and would probably get stung for customs and things. For some reason, even though when the travel series palettes or the latest releases come out with BH Cosmetics, they are straight on Beauty Bay, the Sweet Shop collection just never seemed to make it to Beauty Bay. That's why I never managed to pick anything up. But I do hope they will bring them back again because they are really popular, or they will hopefully make their way to Beauty Bay eventually. So that is the ranking of all 6 of my BH Cosmetics palettes. I feel like I did fly through them quite a bit, so hopefully it's not too rushed. But like I said, it is quite late in the day and my bed is calling me. But as promised, I am going to do a giveaway in this video as well. I am going to do it in the theme of my most recent giveaway, which was a choose your own palette giveaway. So I thought I would do the same with BH Cosmetics. This one is going to work ever so slightly differently to the one from Colourpop, just because of where you can get BH Cosmetics and what countries is easy to ship to and things. I did go on the BH Cosmetics website last night and I did notice that they have a list of countries that they ship to. And obviously in the UK, the best place to get BH Cosmetics is on Beauty Bay. So before you consider entering this giveaway, I do just ask that you go and check the list of countries on the BH Cosmetics website to make sure that they do ship to your country. Obviously, if you are in the UK, that's fine. I will just send the package from Beauty Bay. It's probably going to be the easiest thing. So as with the previous palette giveaway, it is really simple to enter. I do just ask that you are obviously a subscriber of my channel, that you give the video a thumbs up, and then if you could leave a comment with the palette of your choice from BH Cosmetics, and then if possible, if you can put what country you're from as well, so that when I put all the comments into the random generator, when it picks it out, I can immediately see if you are a country that I can get it shipped to, because I will have the list to hand for reference. And then also if you can leave an alternative way to contact you, be it Instagram or an email address, because when the winner is chosen, I will be contacting you by the method that you put in your comment. If not, I will just have to do a reply to your comment, and I know YouTube can be a bit funny with the notifications, so you may not get a notification that I've replied to your comment, so it is best if you do put some other form of contact on there. As to the rules of the giveaway, like I said, I do ask that you are a subscriber to my channel. I must note that if you have previously been subscribed to my channel to just enter a giveaway and did then unsubscribe once the giveaway has ended, you are disqualified from all giveaways on my channel, so please do not try and enter. I ask that you are over the age of 18. If not, then you must have the permission of a parent or guardian, because you are going to be sending your address to me, a stranger on the internet. This giveaway, as usual, will be open for 1 month, so by that means it should be open till the 12th of August. This giveaway is open international as such, but like I said, you must make sure before you enter that your country is listed on the list of countries that BH Cosmetics ship to, or be based in the UK. I think that's all the rules I need to go over, but I do always put them in the description box below just in case. So I do hope that you will enter the giveaway, because it is really fun seeing what palettes people choose. But other than that, that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks.